I'm ready.
Okay. It's incredibly awkward.
Can I go now, Renee?
Yeah, so we were just waiting to give you your big... Oh, dear Lord. What a diva.
Hey everyone, this is Georgia from imore.com. Welcome to our new show focused on everything app and accessories, from news and reviews to comparison and how-tos. I was going to say tattoos. This is Apps and Accessories Live. That would be such a different show. It's Sunday, February 12th, 2012, and joining us tonight is the co-host of Iterate and CIO of Nickelfish, Seth.
Hello, Georgia. How you doing?
I'm good, Seth. Are you ready to rock and roll tonight?
I suppose, yeah.
That's such a no. Also joining us is the editor-in-chief of imore.com and my co-host on Zen and Tech, Renee Ritchie.
How's it going, Georgia? Sorry we're late, guys. Georgia was asking us to just make sure there was only green M&Ms where she wouldn't start the show. Green M&Ms and distilled water from somewhere in Vietnam. It was
And you couldn't even do that right.
See, such a diva.
Oh, so we have the Mobile Nations Fitness Month, Week 2. Seth, what have you been up to?
I have been up to a lot of walking, mostly, and drinking a lot of water, because that's really good for you, especially in the winter, staying hydrated.
Wait a minute. Can we tell whiskey apart from water easily, or are you just getting by really quickly there?
No, whiskey's brown, water's clear.
Water in New Jersey could be brown. I don't know.
Come on, the water's fine here. Enough of that.
It glows in the dark so you can find it at night.
No.
Sounds like we've crossbred Seth with like
Some angry guy.
jellyfish or something.
Yeah.
So Renee, we're not only just doing a fitness month, but we're also giving away a whole bunch of things for people who are working out and working hard. They kind of deserve some treats.
Yeah, we're giving away an iPod Touch every week for people who are participating. All you have to do is get into forums.imore.com, the health and fitness forum, and participate. Tell us what you're doing. Keep up with your daily activities. You could be eligible to win an iPod. It's not an iPod Touch, an iPod Nano. I forget what I said earlier, but it's an iPod Nano. And at the end of the month, we're going to make a drawing, and we're going to give out an IOU for a shiny new iPad 3, whenever Apple deigns to release it. And Zen and Tech, our sibling show, is giving away an Xbox Connect, and you can find out about that in the very same forum.
Mm-hmm. And we might have our own, Kevin made up his own little fitness video. So
The Sexy and You Know It video.
the sexy and you know it. And so we had to kind of go out there and make our own humiliating video. So we did.
All I'm going to say is that if you ever wanted to see Richard Simmons and Snooki do the Superman, you're going to want to tune into iMore tomorrow. I'm not sure what the Snooki is. Apparently, Georgia said Seth would know, but...
yeah. Can you show a little clip or no?
Of what, the video?
Yeah.
Oh, hell no. That thing's debuting tomorrow night. If you stick with us after till later in the show, I'll show it. How's that? I'm not going to give away the goods in the beginning of the show, but if you wait, I will give you a little taste of it.
Okay, awesome. Sometime at the end of the show or on Zen and Tech, you'll show a little video.
Yep.
Perfect.
Preview.
That's all that I want to do.
Yes.
And Renee, what are the iMore picks of the week?
Every week we get together, the iMore editors, some of the writers, and we present our picks for the week. It's the stuff that we liked best during the week. Sometimes it's new stuff, sometimes it's old stuff, but it's stuff that really added value to our lives. So this week, Ali Flowers picked Weather Motion HD. Seth went, kind of built in. He went with the Reminders app for the iPhone. Ali took HQ To Do, which is an app that Leanna wrote about earlier in the week. I chose Scala Preview and Scala View by the inimitable Mark Edwards of Bajango. It's a new tool for designers that we spoke about on Iterate last week, and I'm going to be grilling him about again on Iterate next time. But it's a fairly awesome way to get pixel perfect and color perfect previews of your apps on your iPhone. And Chris Blaze chose beginner guitar songs. Leanna did 100 push-ups. Andrew took Bloomberg TV. So there's a lot of good stuff in there. Check it out. You can find the link every week just on the weekends. Go to the front page. It'll be up there.
Very cool. I'm going to mention something because it's so very current, but people are a little bit up in arms claiming that Apple is taking advantage of Whitney Houston's death.
Oh, I'm so sick of the internet. And you know what I bet? I bet that they're getting tons of... So this is my guess, and I haven't heard this yet. So, and actually, no, I did hear this earlier. My guess is that some idiot wrote something stupid, and now everybody is linking to him as everyone is wont to do. They link, and I don't understand this. Someone writes something patently stupid about Apple, and all the trendy guys, all the cool kids immediately go and link to it. It's link bait, and they link to it. It's rewarding negative attention. Stop it. It's enough. Stop it.
Well, I think that it's a valid enough point to make, but I think that they're making it to the wrong person, unfortunately. And this is really what they're talking about, is that if you don't already know, so sit down. I apologize if I'm the one breaking the news. That would be so horrifically bad. Whitney Houston died.
Yesterday,
yes. Was it
Passed
yesterday
away.
or was
Yep.
it the day before? But yesterday, in her hotel room. And so today, her albums and songs on iTunes are featured, but it's that their price has skyrocketed up like 40%.
Yeah, and we all know, well, Apple used to have one price on iTunes, 99 cents, and the record labels forced them to add a second, well, actually three price tiers, the highest of which is now $1.29. So you have $89, $99, $1.29. Apple does not control, as far as we know, the price of music on iTunes. The record labels do. Otherwise, Apple would keep them at 99 cents. But that story, I am sure, would not generate any the amount of traffic that Apple is screwing people over with Whitney Houston songs story would.
Well, I don't know. If they could, people are so angry at record labels anyways, I think that would have been a good deal of publicity as well.
Yeah, people get really
I think that
angry if you
someone's
control
just
their
thinking
prices.
that because it's Apple's store that they have the sales and rights to whatever they price it. But as I know as well, Renee, I'm not exactly sure, but it's up to the record labels, just like it's up to the app developers how much they sell their products for.
Yeah.
Apple takes a piece of it, and I'm sure that Apple's fine with more profit. They're not going to be qualming about that. But it wasn't actually them for the money grab. It's her record producers and labels that are like, ooh, let's make as much as we can. So,
and ironically, Amazon, which does alter the price of apps and whatever content they want whenever they want, usually skids free on these things, and Apple gets the blame. So that's just extra cherry on my lovely Sunday today. But I'm not bitter.
right. No, not at all. Not at all. It's not an angry Renee today.
No, I just want less stupid Apple stuff. I mean, come on. Don't stop linking to it. I mean, you know who you are. Stop linking to it. It's not hard. Link to the smart Apple stuff. There's tons of smart Apple stuff written every day. Link to that. Give your attention to that.
Let's go for that. Is this
No, not
smart
on our site. I'm just kidding. No, absolutely.
Okay. Apple is, well, here we go. This pretty much is the biggest hint that it's going to be a Retina display for the iPad 3, because they are urging developers to get their Retina display apps ready for the huge announcement of the iPad 3 coming.
Yeah, we got confirmation. Well, not confirmation, but people with good sources say the iPad 3 event is happening in a couple weeks, the first week of March. And Apple usually has Tuesday or Wednesday events, so that gives us, a rough date. Seth, how big a deal is it to get 2x? They call them 2x graphics, double-sized graphics for Retina display. How big a deal is that to get ready in that kind of time frame?
I guess it depends. I think a lot of people have been doing this for a while. I know Marco Arment has said that he's been doing it. Mark, our own Mark Edwards has been talking about it in the past. I think
Tapbots
anybody. What's that?
Tapbots did it for Tweetbot.
Right. I think a lot of developers have probably been kind of building those assets out just in case. And I don't know how many people will be caught unawares as it was, but I don't think it's obviously you just can't scale things up because it would look terrible. But I think once depending on how you've built your images, it could either be, a couple of minutes to a couple of hours, or, you may have to rebuild everything if you didn't consider those things kind of happening. But I think after the original iPhone, display jumped to the Retina display, I think people probably at least had it in the back of their mind. So I don't think it'll be too much of a hardship for developers.
I remember that Mr. Edwards. I was at WWC with him 2 years ago when Apple announced the iPhone 4 and the Retina display, and I was talking to him, and he's like 900 graphics. I have to double size now.
Yeah.
It was that wasn't the only thing that Apple. Well, actually, no, that was a rumor. Apple was rumored to do this, but they actually went and did tell developers something, didn't they, Georgia?
Oh yeah. So, Apple has sent out a warning to developers to stop scamming the App Store with third-party marketing services. So if you want to make your rank up in the App Store, do it legitimately. Even if, and they said this was the part, is that even if you don't know what you are buying into, if you're paying for someone to give you PR and they say that they're going to get you a good rank in the App Store, do not follow them because they will take away your Apple developer privileges. Ixnayed. Voted out.
Is this them getting all Matt's cuts on developer, Seth?
It's possible. I think that people are kind of talking a lot lately about the kind of knockoff apps that we've discussed previously on the show, and I think this is probably not so much a reaction to that, but I guess it is because of the timing of it. I think it's probably something that most people don't really need to hear because I think most developers probably aren't going down this road. And I think, quite honestly, the people that are going down this road are going to ignore this kind of stuff anyway. So I'm not really sure who the message is for. I think that it might just be for people that are starting out, with good intentions that might just be looking to get a marketing bump. But I don't know at this point in the life cycle of the App Store if there's many people that kind of don't get it, that don't understand how it works. So like I said, I'm not really sure who is the intended recipient of this kind of message.
I think.
Well, wouldn't people just because it being highly ranked in the App Store is such a big boon it makes it really salient to just give it a shot and hope that Apple doesn't find you out.
Well,
it's just
I think
there's 500,000 apps. It's so hard to get your app unless you're already a big company.
Yeah, and part of the problem is the way that the App Store does the charts, right? It's based on sales, so all it takes is a little bit of a bump, and then people will see apps that maybe aren't even that good at the top of the charts and continue to keep them there just by downloading it, buying it over and over again. And I think that a lot of developers who really are having a hard time with discoverability take issue with that in and of itself. But I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I don't know that there's any kind of movement to change the way the App Store works. Although I know that I personally, that's one of my biggest pet peeves about the whole thing is that every time I look at the top apps thinking hey, what are people using? What am I maybe not aware of that I'd like to discover? It's the same crap and it's all the same games with, the possible exception of one or two that may have inched up there or something like a Tweetbot that gets a surge or a spike from, either a new release or a sale. It's hard to break that number. And I think people just kind of look for these things out of frustration.
That's one of the. I don't want to dwell on it too long, but I think that there really is a huge problem with app discovery on the App Store, and that Apple has been, not active enough in making it a better experience for App Store shoppers. And these are just one set of people who are taking advantage of it to the detriment of users. And I think it's great. I hope Apple does more of it. I hope Apple actually curates more on the Apple Store, not less. I hope they take a more active hand in it, and hopefully this is the beginning.
Right, though it still doesn't change the fact that it's just such a uphill battle. It would be nice if they had the ones that are just fast trending kind of apps, after 50, because they have the 50 that they can give away. So after that, if they had some apps that were doing really well, at least you could take a look at some up-and-coming applications that might be newer. I don't know.
No, there's we'll do an editorial on it, but there's tons of stuff that Apple really needs to do to keep the value of their platform.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
So this is an article that I wrote today, Georgia, because I was coming to the end of my rope on something else. And this was this controversy about Path. Path is this small circle social network. It only lets you have 150 friends, so it's not like it doesn't want to be Facebook. It kind of wants to be, how would you call Path? That's like Instagram meets It's like a small version of Facebook with Instagram rammed into its internals, something like that.
Yeah, it's a hybrid of a couple things: a check-in component, a photo component, basic status updates. It's kind of a blend.
All right, so yeah, so it does several things, but what it also did was it took your contacts and it sent them to their servers, and it did it in an open way. And a guy discovered this by basically just snooping in on the communications. And this is alarming in a couple ways. It's not the first time it happened. This happened with Nuance Dragon Dictation 2 years ago. It's an ongoing thing with iOS. Apple doesn't have any special permission set up for using your contacts. Nuance used it so that if you said someone's name was in your contents, they would know what it was and they could transcribe it for you. Path did it so that if one of your friends joined Path, they could tell you and you could become friends on Path as well. But they ask your permission for location. They ask your permission for push notification. They don't ask your permission for contacts. They don't ask your permission for calendars. There's probably several other things they don't ask your permissions for. And sending contacts or any personal information in the open with no obfuscation, no hashing, no encryption, it kind of sends those privacy things into alarm bells, Georgia.
Yeah, like all of this kind of stuff really it really makes me feel exceptionally uncomfortable. Because then what happens with your information?
Well, that's just it.
I think that and I think you're right. They should ask before they're using what they're using for it. And it should be a rule. It should be that that's it. You've lost your developer permissions. Your application is going to be off. If you have,
but they're not abusing anything. Apple lets them do this. And
yeah, Apple shouldn't let them do it.
Absolutely. And Path is just the one who got caught. Since Path got caught, a bunch of other developers have gone to encrypting contacts and asking permission, but they didn't beforehand. It's a widely used thing in iOS.
Yeah, it's really scary. Like the amount of tracking and data. It just bothers me at such an intense level.
And Seth, I tried to think of what I would do because I don't want endless pop-ups. Because right now you open up an app, some apps it says, will you allow us to use push notifications? Will you allow us to use location? I don't want to have to do yes, location, yes, push notifications, yes, contacts, yes, calendars, yes, 3G networks, yes, local storage. So I thought maybe they should, like the way they kind of took Notification Center from Android, they could take the permissions list from Android, but do it in a much cleaner, much easier to toggle way. So I put up a little mock-up.
Yeah, I think that Apple needs to kind of tread a fine line here because obviously their goal is to make user experience seamless, and what they allow application developers to do with people's personal data is kind of a gray area for a lot of people, whether morally or developmentally. In this case, in both ways. Obviously, you're right. We don't want a million pop-ups because people will just get trained to know where the close button or the OK button is. Kind of like when Vista came out, there were all those user account control pop-ups, and people just ended up turning them off because, frankly, they were really not helping anybody. In most cases. So the trick is, how do we allow people to know all of this information that a developer might want to use from their address book or their personal data on their phone without making it completely obtrusive to the experience? And you're right, pop-up alerts it's old. The modal pop-up, I think at this point, we're all pretty much tired of it unless it's an occasional thing. And there's times when I launch an app for the first time and there are 2 or 3 that come up. It's like push notifications, location, and maybe one other thing if I'm not misremembering it. And it's like they all kind of bounce on each other, and then sometimes the app hangs a second, and then I have to wait, and then I have to do one at a time, and it's horrible. So I think you're right in that Android does present that in a unified screen, and I think that's probably a good first step to just identify those things and give people choices. But of course, you have to explain it in a way that they're going to understand, because a lot of times you see a list like that on Android, and people just still yeah, fine, okay. They don't read it, they don't understand it.
That's why I liked Apple defaulting to everything off in iOS 5. And I think if they did the same thing, they put up a sheet that defaulted to off, and then when you actually use something, if it tells you have to use it, I think there's a happy middle ground. I don't know what it is, but I think there's a happy middle ground.
Yeah, it's a tough user experience problem because you want to make things as good and easy as possible for the people using the device, but you also want to protect them, and you want to make developers cognizant of crossing lines with people and the possible ramifications of that.
All right, George. We've been ranting a lot at the beginning of this episode. Do you have any actual apps for us to talk about, or are we just going to keep ranting?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have a lot of app news. So, the best handwriting notes app for iPad. Is it Note Shelf? Leanna likes Note Shelf.
Yeah, Andrew, one of the big brains behind Mobile Nations, loves him some Note Shelf as well. We had some dissidents. We had some dissent.
It looks like fun. I have to say, it looks like fun. If I'm going to take notes, that looks like a lot more fun than.
The only thing it doesn't do is PDF notation yet, and some people really like that. So they like Notified, or I forget the name of the other app better. But Leanna loves this. Andrew loves this. I think you use this too, haven't you, Seth?
Yeah, it's a cool app. I like it a lot.
And Allie went all in on cloud storage. She tried out SugarSync. She tried out, she's always using iCloud. She tried out Box.net, and her best cloud storage app for iPhone. And I should say, all of these, if you go to imore.com and you click Best List, you'll see all of our best app picks. She decided Dropbox was the best app for cloud storage, and I think she won't get any disagreement on this panel.
No, certainly not.
I have to say, I think that I might get Note Shelf. It looks like, again, just simple, easy, and kind of fun. Like, I was the person that would buy all the different colored pens when I went to school.
That's awesome.
You know, so I'd have like 12 different colors to write my notes in.
The thing that's nice about Note Shelf is that I've tried stuff like Penultimate when it came out, which is kind of a more simple app. There's less you can do with it, but it's very, very good. And then I've tried stuff that kind of goes beyond Note Shelf and has audio notes that you can drop in and all kinds of other things you can do. And it seems like overkill. And Note Shelf kind of bridges those two worlds where it's very simplistic and not stupidly so, but like really easy to understand and get into. But then if you poke around a little bit, there's a lot of other things you can do, but they're not there in the interface, in your way, like, you know, expending your mental and visual energy. They're there if you want them, but they're out of the way.
And it's got a lot of depth too. For example, Leanna uses it for math. She quickly writes out math formulas and marks them down and emails them to her students, which is much easier for her than actually trying to type out complex math symbols. Andrew uses them to brainstorm in meetings and to take notes, do mind maps, all that kind of stuff. So you're taking things from like executive to school, from intern to student to teacher. It's got a lot of uses.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look at some games.
Nice.
So, Mass Effect Infiltrator is coming to the iPad and the iPhone, and it will offer unlockable content for the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. So, is this going to quell those people that need first-person shooters, blood, guts, glory?
I think the only interesting thing about this is that it provides a bridge to other content. Like, this is a smaller app because the iPhone and iPad don't do as much as an Xbox or a PlayStation. But this is an app that is not for the first time, but it's a really major title that the more you do in the iPhone and the iPad app, the more stuff you get in the console app as well. So it's a nice kind of a bridge app. They're looking at it as a unified gaming experience.
But again, gaming like that on the iPad, I don't know. There's something about having a controller in that way, having a physical button. And I know that you can buy the little sticker things so that you have your little physical button. I don't know. Maybe I should test out one of those little sticker buttons.
Well, try the game.
See if that will work.
It's not the console game on the iPad. It's a different game made for the iPad. It's a third-person shooter. It'll be similar to other third-person shooters. But again, it's trying to make extra added value content. It's not trying to replace the console game.
Renee, is it multiplayer?
I believe so, yeah.
Really?
I don't know.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's just when I'm playing a shooter, I don't want to have to think of my fingers off of the D-pad, and I'm angry, so I'm throwing I'll just be moving around a lot, so I don't know if that would work out too much for me. Do you play first-person shooters, Seth?
No, I used to really like them, but in recent years, I just haven't kept up with them, and as such, I'm just like, you know what, I'm done. I will think fondly of GoldenEye and Perfect Dark and a few other ones, from way back, but nah, not anymore, really.
Yeah, but well, I don't know. We'll have to see. This might just be the bridge of opening, and who knows? Maybe the the iPad 3, there'll be even more coolness coming.
See, I still say you guys are
It'll
completely
look
missing
nicer.
the point on this. This is not about this one game. This is about us getting more crossover content. I mean, I want other
Right.
people to
I
think
know,
about
but if the
this.
crossover content cannot be to the same level as on my Xbox, why am I going to play it on my iPad?
Well, look at Nova. Look at World at War. I mean, there's all sorts of games that are just standalone first-person, third-person shooters on iOS. This one, I mean, we can judge it by that standard as well. But again, this is a major game. This is going to leave me another rant. So you're forcing me to rant again, and
Go for
I
it.
haven't got my thoughts together on this. But iOS as a platform is not in the best of health, and the more we can get major developers to put the time and effort to bring major titles to the game, the better. And if it starts off as ancillary content to their platform games, I mean, I'm all for that. You can say what you want about the controls. They are what they are because Apple's not going to put a joystick or a controller on anytime soon. But I still want premium, high quality, highly produced, well-made games on my iPhone and iPad.
Yeah. And I think you're definitely onto something in that this is just kind of a first step. And, having ancillary content on the iPad is not a bad thing because I can think of a handful of things that might be cool to do as a side activity on that device. Like, if you're playing a first person shooter, you could have maps and stuff like that you can use away from the system and then update your positions when you go back to the system. Like there's all kinds of things you can think of that would be good to have, and not just like I remember with Dreamcast, the VMUs, like if you were playing like Madden or something, you could like cycle through plays and stuff on the controller and not on the screen. So like there was always that kind of connection, and some of the games used it for really cool things and some of them didn't. There's that kind of play mechanic where the iPad is kind of like a secondary display, but why couldn't there be not even like mini games or side games, but just things that aren't as intensive as the main, playthrough of the console game that still add value or add depth to your experience? I think it's definitely possible.
Yeah, I agree. It's not. It's like everything else, George. Like the iPad can't replace your laptop, but for a lot of things, it's good enough. And it won't replace your console game, but for a lot of things, it'll be good enough.
Okay, great. So hopefully they'll have WoW so people can tailor at least.
Tailor that WoW. Is WoW still, people still playing WoW? Isn't there something to replace that yet? It's been around too long. Someone's got to replace
Yeah,
it already.
Skyrim.
Or what? Or that Star Wars thing, right? Where you can play as
Yeah, the Star Wars
the
things,
Old
but really
Republic.
it's Skyrim. Everything's Skyrim.
Nice.
I see that Old Republic commercial, and I'm like, man, that game looks amazing. And then it occurs to me that I would not have any time to play it, and as such, I would never advance.
Yeah.
Right, and then I'd be frustrated the entire time.
You'd be
Yeah.
a Padawan for life.
It's just, yeah. You need someone to level you up, and then you just, deal with it.
So
Though I hear wonderful things about Skyrim, so.
one of our biggest app reviews this week was Tweetbot for iPad. People have been asking for it for a long time. They were bugging the people who made Tweetbot. They really wanted it for the iPad. It finally came out. It came out at the same time as Tweetbot 2.0 for iPhone. So we took it head to head. We put it up against Twitterific and Twitter for iPad, and did a bit of an app shootout.
Okay, and how did it do? Should I be using Tweetbot? Just tell me. I'm on Twitter. I have Twitter right now. I'm not thrilled with it. It's not great. I'm not thrilled with the update. It forced me in because I went to iOS 5. Didn't choose to update, Seth. That wouldn't happen. But since I got my new phone,
You're not using
Yeah.
Tweetbot now?
No, she's not. She's using Twitter for iPhone.
no. But
Yeah.
tell me, should I get it and why?
Yeah, you definitely should.
Okay.
It's such a good app, and this update is just so much better than it was, and that's even hard to fathom. But it's great. I think it's the best Twitter client out there.
Well, so here's the thing. So this is what we do a bit in our shootout, is that there are different Twitter clients for different kinds of users. The new Twitter is not designed for us. The new Twitter is designed for people who really don't have any followers and follow a ton of celebrities. That is the new mainstream Twitter audience. The people who learn about it from Ellen or from some singer they like, and they just follow a ton of different celebrities and they have no followers. And that's really the experience that they've catered to. They want to introduce you to Twitter, give you a lot of trends, a lot of ways to quickly interact, to find new people. That means all of us left because that's not what we need. And Tweetbot, I think, is the most the most fitting heir to the original Twitter, original Tweety for iPhone, and now for iPad. Like,
Though I did like the original Tweety, yeah.
Yeah, Twitterific is great if you just want to read Twitter from beginning to end like a book. You have all your direct messages, all your mentions.
Do people do that? They just
Yes.
read? Okay.
There are people who just want to read Twitter. If you don't have a lot of direct messages and a lot of mentions, it's good because otherwise they get very interruptive. But they each have their own forte. And Twitter for iPad, which they haven't made a new version of yet, is still really avant-garde, like forward-thinking tablet UI with multiple layers. And as you're composing a message, you still have different panels you can throw left and right and find things. It's a real power client that is almost certainly going to be murdered and replaced with new Twitter sometime soon.
Okay, well, here I go. I have just installed it.
Nice.
And there we go. First stage, asking me if it would like to access to my Twitter accounts. Now, again, every time I get these stupid pop-ups, I'm like, yeah, I don't mind you doing it once, but are you going to keep on like monitoring me? But yeah, I'm going to say yes.
Well, that's your Twitter account, so that's not location. That's just because
I know,
iOS has integrated
but
Twitter
that's
now.
how sensitive I am. I'm like the CEO of this large company that every time he travels to China, he gets a separate phone. He buys a lone phone and a lone Mac laptop, brings it into his meetings. He unplugs his phone's battery so that they can't use it for miking, and then wipes it clean again each time he travels and then gives it back. So, yeah.
Well, the guy with the radio mic across the street's got everything.
Yeah, I know that poor, boring life.
But yeah, you can allow Twitter to have access to your Twitter. That's perfectly acceptable. Otherwise, it's not
Fair
very functional.
enough. Here we go. Thank you for purchasing Tweetbot.
Now, if you have to go into DFU mode, you might want to take a moment.
You're so horrible, timeless selector. I'm going through it. This is great. Conversation and replies. Okay, great. Powerful gestures. Customizable tab bar. Follow Tapbots on Twitter. No.
Listen, at first
That's
it's
as far
going
as
to
I
feel
go.
a little weird, but then
Yeah.
if you just relax, it'll all be fine.
Just breathe.
Yeah.
Is there anything special that it gives me, though, that I didn't have before? Like, they actually made anything
Yeah, I mean, as you get
supremely
more
better.
into it, watch the video. That's all I'm going to say. Watch the video. We have a lot of tips, tricks, a lot of cool things that you do in it.
Okay, I will test it out. Let's go to some of the coolest accessories that you can have for your iPhone and iPod, because I am so stoked, excited about this. So we spoke last time about the laser tag guns.
Yeah, the zappers.
Yeah, and now Hasbro has new laser tag guns, too, to use your iPhone or iPod Touch for augmented reality and heads-up display.
Yeah, it's like a new trend. And Hasbro's the one who brought us Megatrons. They know something or another about a gun. And G.I. Joe.
It's pretty. It's very cartoony looking, but if it was like all silver, it looks a little bit like a Halo gun. Like, it's pretty sweet.
Okay, I'm going to go on record, and I don't live in New Jersey, so Seth can correct me if I'm wrong, but I want something that looks as far from a real gun as possible. Like, I don't want to ever have my iPhone out for a game of laser tag and, end up getting pacified by accident.
Are you actually worried about having your phone get injured?
No, I'm worried about being shot by someone who thinks I'm using an actual weapon.
Someone actually asked me, because people ask me all kinds of strange questions about phones, and they actually asked me, can the iPhone stop a bullet? I'm like, out of all of the phones, the iPhone cannot stop a bullet. It's glass. Like, if you're going to have glass shields, then possibly.
Well, I guess it depends on the bullet. Maybe like a BB gun bullet, it'll stop.
I don't even know. I wouldn't even trust it to a BB gun, but
you might get
again,
a glass cut.
People ask some fabulous questions to that. But take a look and, me want.
Nice.
Me
So that
wants
or the
it.
zapper, which one looks more interesting?
Oof. Okay, well, the zapper looks a little bit more realistic, but in the end, all I care about is the gun that's going to be more sensitive.
Or the one that has the best app support?
Yeah. Yeah.
Seth, you're being awful
Right.
quiet as though you're not busy already ordering the thing as we talk.
Yeah, I'm not really following the liking of this. It's just not something
No?
I'd be into.
No, you're
You're not
laser
into
tag?
guns.
No, laser. Yeah,
Paintball?
I guess. What?
Paintball is definitely much more than laser tag. Like when the iPhone can be a paintball gun, I'm all over that.
Oh wait, Seth, is it because it's an inelegant weapon, and not from a long ago age?
It's partly.
If
that,
it was
yes.
a Vorpal sword, he would be so into it.
If it was a lightsaber accessory, he would be in. What else
I
you
would
got for
definitely
us?
be considering it more. Yeah.
We got the Vumote Zapper. This is a little doohickey that plugs in and it will turn your iPhone into a universal remote and leave all the other infrareds to collect dust. And it's just really, it's just a little tiny attachment onto the side. And does the case have to be used as well, Renee, or that's just?
No, that's just a smart cover. I think that's just a smart cover. I can't tell, but it's a really like we've seen complete battery cases with built-in remotes. We've seen all sorts of things. But this one is nice and small, and it looks like it does a good job. The only caveat is like, do you really want your device? I mean, unless you have a bunch of extra devices, unless you're some kind of weird blogger and you have a bunch of extra phones and iPads hanging around, do you really want your device to be dominated by the family for remote control, fought over for who's going to be watching Power Rangers or the Jersey Shore next?
Right. I think that actually, by the way, it does have to have the case that attaches with it, just because it seems to have in every single picture, it has a case that goes with it. But it's actually quite a nice looking case. It's felt. It kind of sits around to the side.
The case is an extra. I just looked. The case is an extra. You get the dongle and you can get a matching case if that's how you roll.
Okay, so the nice part about it is that I have like a lot of extra phones and iPods. So it would be great to have one of those that would be a universal remote. I hate, one, losing my remotes, and two, having to have more than one remote in order to take care of a whole bunch of different things. And then buying them is so expensive, and then setting them up is so difficult. So they can do this better.
I've got an incredibly pricey Harmony One remote, which drives me out of my mind crazy because it's such a pain in the ass to set up. And keep current. It never does what I want because it's like it wants me to make a watch movies button. But is that watch movies on my PS3, on my Apple TV, on Netflix? It just doesn't work right. So I'm hoping something like this will let me throw that in the trash can, Seth.
I have heard every single person that has a Harmony, I have heard them say, "Oh, it's really awesome, but I hate it."
Yeah.
Like it's the same experience. Like, "Oh yeah, it does everything under the sun." I never use it because it's impossible to program and it never works the way I want it to.
Yeah, you got to stick a stupid little cable into your computer, and it doesn't have granular. Anyways, I hope that this thing makes it obsolete.
Yeah, George is right though. You have an extra device lying around. This is perfect for that.
Yeah.
You might as well test it out. It is a little bit pricey though, I have to say.
Well, I mean, compared to a $300 Harmony remote.
Yeah, exactly. Those Harmonies are not cheap.
Yeah, fair enough. But still, it's not cheap. Like I would hope that it would be something that was like $30. So.
Well, if they made it in China, it'd be cheaper.
That's true.
Let's not start
that. You know what the worst part is? It probably was made in China and it's not cheaper.
But the interesting thing about this, too, is that it shows once again how the iPhone and iPad are just becoming the de facto interface for all these devices. You don't need to make a remote anymore with a stupid keypad or a Harmony touchscreen. You just make an attachment for an iPhone. We'll see that with later accessories. They're using the iPhone literally as the interface to everything.
Well, it would be great if everyone has an iPhone.
Or an iPad.
So we've been dealing with a lot of different ways to mount your iPad. We just have a ton of them kind of coming out and we're going to be taking a look at. And so we also have the hover bar, which mounts your iPad next to your iMac. And it's kind of cool. It spins around. It works really, really nicely. I think we have to redo the video for it. I think it looks really nice.
Oh, YouTube pulled down their video. We don't know why, but YouTube pulled down.
The only thing that I'm sad about is that it doesn't actually hover. I have to say, it sits there.
What, it's not filled with rare earth magnets that force it just above the surface of the earth?
Unobtainium.
No, you see, and that's what I was looking for.
Oh, but it's an interesting idea.
But it looks beautiful.
It's by 12 Mac, and they do a lot of these kind of cool accessories, and it connects to your iMac, and it lets you put up your iPad as a secondary touch-enabled display. I'd use it.
Oh, yeah. 12 South makes good stuff. I have a couple of those, what do you call them, book arcs?
Yes, I do
for
too.
Laptops. Really well made, really heavy-duty, really good-looking stuff.
Really nicely packaged. I mean, they make the book as well. They make a lot of really just...
No, they don't make the book. They make Dodo Case makes the book.
No, that's not the book. The book something. They make your laptop look like a book.
You're right.
The nice thing is that it has a flexible steel arm, which is really nice. It fits onto the surface without having to drill holes, and it's not permanent, so you don't have to worry about that. It can be rotated landscape portrait. It has a ball joint mount, so you can also rotate it around. And it also has a cable manager, so that means little clips onto the arm so that you can hook in your cables and you don't have to have your desk look a mess.
Yeah,
which
sold.
I really appreciate it.
We're gonna try and review one as soon as possible. As soon as 12 South sends
Okay.
this one, get it in the mailbox, guys.
Here we go. DVM Dash. This is the microwave for your iPhone.
The microwave.
It is probably one of the most hideous looking attachments
Oh, come on.
for your God.
Doesn't most of that sit in the dashboard, though?
Yes.
You don't really see all of that.
Yeah, it goes
God.
on the dashboard of your car.
It looks like it's a safe. It does not. It's not fabulous looking. Like, really,
But
it's a little hideous.
what do you? I mean, that would be. It's like pull out any radio from a car. It would look like
Yeah.
that.
No, I don't. I don't like the retro dial on it. I don't like the way that it's off center. No, I'm not too thrilled with it at all. It's kind of.
Oh yeah, the off-centered part is kind of weird, and the iconography
not-
they're using isn't.
And the choice of I don't know like the way that they're using it, but that little bar that's on the side, the little clip that's on the top. Hopefully it charges at the same time.
Yes, it does.
But it's I can't say I really love the look. Do not like it. It does. Yes, it looks like a safe.
She's making me hate something that I used to like. Stop her.
Well, if it has fabulous
just don't
sound, I
listen.
won't care. But it's just, it would be nice to have my iPhone centered. I guess that the reason that they did it is so that you can, I don't know, turn. I really don't know. So you can
So the
press
idea-
the power.
The idea is that you buy the radio part once, you put that in your car, and then if Apple ever changes the body of the iPhone, all you have to do is buy the faceplate again, and you can get a new one that'll fit the iPhone 5 or the iPhone 7 or
See,
whatnot.
that's smart.
I like that.
And they attach
But-
magnetically.
Yeah. I don't know.
Magnets.
Magnets.
I don't know.
How do they work?
Rare earth obtainiums.
Oh, yeah. Talking about that, I just bought the ferroliquid, so I have been playing
What?
with magnets all the time.
What is that?
You bought what?
The ferroliquid, the liquid, they stick iron, really, really finely ground iron into a liquid, and then you can use magnets, and then it goes all crazy, like Jennifer's Body kind of crazy.
Oh, I
Makes
didn't
spikes
see
'cause
that
you
I don't
can
movie.
see
understand.
magnetic. Really?
Yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah.
You don't have? Do you want me to get it?
Is it like playing with mercury?
No,
Is it
it's
like
so much
that?
cooler than playing with mercury.
What does it do?
What does it do? Well, okay. Its actual use is more to they're trying to find. They don't really have any use for it. It's cool. It's used in stereo speakers, and it's also used for dealing with sealants around, or at least they think that they can use it in dealing with sealants around tubes, because if they have a magnet around the tube, it will stay sealed and tightly without having to worry about actually finding a different material of sealant that has it. So it's very, very cool.
Oh, so it could be used kind of like as a substitute for adhesive in cases like that, where you would need two things to bond to one another?
It actually would not be great for bonding, because in and itself it does not have any magnetic properties.
I'm completely disinterested in this. I've lost all interest.
I'll be showing it on like a Zenintech or something like that, or Girls Gone Gadgets. So you can take a look
Okay.
at that. It's a lot of fun to play with, though. Like, it looks like something like it's an alien, and they have amazing sculptures that people use for it. So
Oh, does it look like a T1000?
it's black, so it looks like a black T1000.
So no then.
No, it doesn't. I'm sorry.
All right.
But
Okay.
still, probably some of the coolest stuff that you can play around with.
You also
I'd like to talk about some of the stuff that I'm going to be covering, if that is okay.
do it.
Okay, so here we go. From the fabulous people at Choice, I'm going to be taking a look at the Power Fort. It's a rechargeable battery pack. So the nice thing is that it's small, it's lightweight, and you can use it to charge all kinds of things. So it'll tell you how much battery life is there, and you can deal with it to charge, your iPad, your iPhone, your Mac, whatever it so may be. So I'm going to be taking a look at that. I love Choice. They're the ones that brought the Wave, so they are fabulous. And since everyone has been looking at styluses, I'm going to be taking a look at the H10 Stylus, which the coolest thing about this H10 Stylus that they thought about is that this plugs in.
Hold it higher. Hold it higher.
Sorry. Here we go. It has a little, my favorite part is actually the storage, because that's what my thing is that I'm always going to, sorry, not styluses, styli. Sorry, sock. Is that this fits into your mic, and it just fits in there, so you'll always have it with you. And it has the soft rubber attachment. It has a really nice feel to it, a little bit of grip. It's a little bit grippy on the side, so I'll be taking a peek at that. And now let's go for some fun, cool sticker stuff. Here we go. Now, Renee, you brought me these back. I do not actually know who they
Crimson.
are from.
Those are from Crimson Case.
So here we go. All kinds of different stickers to decor your iPhone. And some of them are really beautiful.
Yeah, they're quite cool. A lot of people at Macworld were using them. We just saw them. We saw people with them on their phones, and we managed to track them down. And they actually did an application on Leanna's phone. You can see the video up on iMore.
Yeah.
They did the whole aluminum case.
Really, really nice looking. So I can't wait to try those out. Those are going to be a lot of fun. And then, of course, my favorite, things that sparkle. So White Diamonds was at one point my favorite of cases, and they have some new cases coming out, and we're going to be taking a peek at them.
Nice.
Though I have to say that these cases are not my favorite in comparison to the graphical design cases that they have. Some of their graphical design cases are absolutely stunning, and
They're artist series.
yeah, for sure.
They still have them. It's just the same ones you already looked at. So
Yes.
this is the different stuff.
Yes.
The non-artist stuff.
Yeah.
You also did a poll for us, and you asked people what they were, because Apple said the iPad, well, not Apple, but the rumor mills are saying the iPad 3 is almost upon us. So you were asking what kind of case people wanted.
Yes, let's take a peek at where everyone's at. Everyone's pretty much all over the map. What kind of cover will you want for the iPad 3? So we have a iPad 3 hard case. More protection is better, 15%. iPad 3 soft case. I need grip, not bulk, 15%. Waterproof case, 4%. A keyboard case, 6%. Leather case, 18%. Bling case, 2%. No one likes the bling, the luxury
Except
cases.
for you. You like the white diamonds, no one else does.
I like the White Diamonds case. It was a stunning, stunning case. iPad 3 skin case, safe, not stocky, 12%. No iPad 3 case, naked or go home, 22%.
Yeah, it's a lot of people.
And other. Do you use a case, Seth, on your iPad?
Yeah, I have a little kind of thing that I got off of Amazon. It's like a very thin kind of folio that folds over and does kind of a standing thing and then a keyboard thing. I've had the Marware EcoView, I think.
Yes.
That's
those
one
were
that
nice.
I used. Yeah, I liked that for a long time, but it was like a little too bulky. And then this one I found on Amazon was actually thinner. I think for the iPad 3 though, I've been really considering getting one of those folding kind of folio cases with a small keyboard, because even though
A keyboard?
even though my brain is telling me don't do that, that's a horrible idea, I kind of really want one, because I find myself wanting to do more long typing on the iPad, and I don't want to do it on the glass, and I don't want to pair it with a Bluetooth keyboard, like a separate thing. Like, I don't know if I'm really going to like it, but I'm kind of wondering if I can really hack that, because I don't really want to get a MacBook Air. I mean, all right, let's be honest, I do want to get a MacBook Air, but I really can't justify that. So I've got the MacBook Pro.
Wait,
and I figure
you buy it. That's the justification.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have to say, out of all of the MacBook Air,
We're going to do a test. As soon as the iPad 3 comes out, we're going to do an iPad 3 versus MacBook Air shootout.
yeah, I do not see how the iPad could ever beat out the MacBook.
It's going to have more. It's going to have more screen resolution.
Though when I want an application, I want to change anything, I appreciate the usefulness and simplicity of my iPad, and I still only play on my iPad. I will not play on my
So that's
Mac.
just it. Like, in order for this to work, it has to be a case where I can throw the iPad in real quick and take it out real quick, because I don't want it on all the time, but I know I want to slap it on and do some typing at some point. So I have to find one that just fits just right.
We're going to do a shootout between different keyboards too, Seth, so keep an eye for that.
Oh, I'd be very much interested in
Do a
that.
battle royal.
That being said, Renee, they really didn't integrate as much as quickly as, the bridge in between, iOS, between their computers, their laptops, and the iPads and iPhones, iOS. It's not exact. I was hoping that by now it would be much more seamless in between the two.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. We got to wait.
Like,
and see,
I would
Georgia.
love to. What?
The event is a couple weeks away. We have no idea what they're gonna. They could put out a triangular iPad for all we know.
That would be really cool. But the OS in itself, it would be nice if it was just fully unified by now. I'm ready.
All right.
I'm ready.
We'll talk about it on Wednesday. It's a good topic.
Fair enough.
We'll do that.
Renee,
Yes.
iPad 3 cases.
I have the smart cover on the iPad 2 that I use when I'm around the house.
Really, you're like one of the only people that actually still uses the.
The most used accessory posts from the Tippy staff would beg to differ with you, young lady.
I know. Well, I like the choice one. I like because it clips on the back and I don't have to worry about it falling off.
You didn't let me finish.
Sorry.
So I use that when I'm just around the house because it's better than no case at all.
Right.
Just because I want sometimes just to hold it up or flip it around and put it up to type on. So I use that as almost no case. And then when I travel, I use the pad and quill lately for traveling just because I don't even have to have a bag with it. I can just put it in that little hipster moleskin and go out with it on its own. And then it's really lightweight.
Okay. Fair enough.
And you?
I usually, if I have my choice, I use nothing. I used to have one of the.
You had a destroyer.
It wasn't bodyguards, but it was just the grip of one of the little sticker backs for grip.
Oh yeah. The bodyguards carbon fiber
Grip. Just because it was nice, it made it a little bit holder. My favorite case is the Casemate Pop, my husband's is the Choice smart cover case.
So you like the kickstand covers? You have them on your iPhone, on your iPad?
I do. I actually still have it on, but I'm going to be trying out some different cases. So it's just so useful. In the end, it's that I can use it all the time. I can stand it up, stand it onto the side, and it's exceptionally it feels really nice. Like I've never dropped my phone with this because it has great grip. Even if I'm wearing gloves, which is a nice difference to that, it feels nice when I place it onto a counter. Yeah, I like it. I think it's a pretty good case.
Nice. Seth, you've been unusually quiet tonight. Was it us?
No, I'm just taking in the magic, Renee.
Oh, I wish we could use that as a title. Maybe we'll go back to using those kind of titles. I kind of miss them. We've been using very straight up titles because people complained they couldn't tell what was in the episode. But maybe it's better if they don't know.
Yeah,
it's more fun.
Yeah. I agree.
It's a grab bag every time.
I agree.
You never really know. Well, I think another show has come to a close.
Nice.
Seth, thank you so much for joining us once again.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always fun.
I love how you say that, and it sounds almost genuine.
Almost.
Seth, how do we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Seth Clifford. You can find me on the iMore shows and on Iterate with Renee and Mark Edwards of Bajengo. And if you'd like to see some of the work we do, the apps and sites that we build, please visit nfidm.com. We are Nickelfish.
Damn it. And Renee.
Yes.
Are you a little less grumpy after this?
Oh, hell no. I'm going to go write a whole bunch of really nasty editorials after this.
Awesome. Use that energy.
I am incensed.
Fabulous. Well, where can people flame tweet you, Renee?
They're already doing that, but they can reach me at Renee Ritchie on Twitter, or they can go to imore.com or mobilenations.com or zenintech.com. Lots of ways to get at me.
There we go. Go do that. And I'm Georgia. You can find me on Twitter at GeorgiaTIPB. You can find me on the website, www.imore.com. It's so hard, I still want to say Tippy.
What?
And you can also find me on zenandtech.tv. And of course, Zen and Tech is coming up.
Nice.
It's actually, when I started to do the reviews, I would still say, I'm Georgia from Tippy.com.
It's our Valentine's special on Zen and Tech tonight, so tune in.
Lots of love.
Yeah.
Do you get fined every time someone says Tippy?
Yeah, $1 goes in the curse jar. We have enough for a good party.
An angel loses its wings.
And if you
It's
curse
not
and
pretty.
say tippy, then you have to put in double.
No, then we give you money.
Seth is almost bankrupt.
I was very tempted to give you a bleep-worthy moment just then.
Do it.
Very tempted.
Ooh.
Do it.
No. Nope.